October 25, 1988, President Reagan signed into effect that October, among other things, would be Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. As someone who's lost 2 babies, and I am in the car in the dark because my 3rd pregnancy and firstborn son are in the car and I don't want to wake him up, I would like to recognize everyone who has experienced some or maybe all or more of what I've experienced, to uplift you, to celebrate you, and realize that life, even though it throws you so many curveballs, there are positives. And even if you don't have a sleeping child in the back of your car and you strongly desire that, I want to tell you I've been in your shoes, and hold on. That's what I can say. There's this story that everybody has who's gone through this. A story maybe like mine, maybe very different. The first miscarriage we learned at our first appointment at 12 weeks. Well, I thought I was 12 weeks pregnant, but it turns out that baby had stopped growing at 8.5 weeks. And so when we did the ultrasound at our first appointment, all excited, taking pictures, just so giddy and excited. And then the ultrasound, things changed very drastically, very quickly. I remember that very well. The OB was doing the ultrasound, and she said, well, that's definitely a baby in there. But the tone in her voice wasn't positive, and I appreciated her straightforwardness, and it doesn't mean that it was any easier, where she said, it looks like this is a miscarriage. There's no heartbeat. And so the decisions that have to come after that, when you and your husband are expecting to be able to tell the family, because we were the conventional, let's wait until after the first trimester type people with our first pregnancy. That's really hard. It's not something I ever want to relive, but I will never forget, because that was our first boy. That's Zachariah, as he has been named. And he will never be forgotten. And I know those of you who have lost will never forget your little ones, whether you've named them or not, whether you told people about them or not. It's a gift. They were a gift. And they will always have a place in your heart. We decided in that instance, since I had already gone for almost 4 weeks and had no idea that I had miscarried or the baby was no longer alive, we opted for a D&C procedure, which I did 2 days later. And anybody who's gone through that, even though you know the baby is no longer there, the immense emptiness when you wake up from the general anesthesia, it cannot be described. It's also something I would never wish on anyone. When you wake up and immediately start crying your heart out, and the anesthesiologist is there saying, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you in pain? Not physical pain. It's a pain that cannot be put into words. My husband was amazing. Guys, I don't know what it's like for you, but I can only imagine how difficult it might be to see one that you love go through something that she may or may not be able to articulate, and maybe feels very different for you because you're in a different position. You're not the one carrying the child. It is your child, and of course you care very much about your child, and seeing the difference in the situation, I applaud my husband for the fact that he was hurting as well, and he still hurts, and he still sought ways to be with me to grieve with me, to hold me. And even when he didn't understand and he voiced it, he always was an active participant. So hats off to those of you who aren't the ones carrying the lost baby. That first child, even though I never got to meet him, still holds a very special place in my heart. My firstborn son, that many recognize as our first child, is such a gift. And Micah, that's his name, will always be my firstborn boy that I was able to hold. Zachariah is my first child, not born. And those of you who have lost, whether it be your first pregnancy or after maybe you even had a child, it's never easy. So I would like to recognize those of you who are going through this month and are feeling the loss, and let you know that there are still positives on the horizon. I praise God for those positives. Sometimes as small as they are, they make a difference. So then there's the second miscarriage, and then there's a nervousness of getting pregnant again, especially when one has difficulties like we did getting pregnant. There's a lot more to the story, and with that being said, keep your chin up. You are a parent, you are a mother, and you've received the gift of life, even though it's not the life that you can hold in your hands. It's still a gift. And I keep you in my prayers. I do. I tell God, that's such pain, and I know some are experiencing it newly, and others maybe every anniversary or every date that has meaning for your little one. Keep your chin up. It does get better, and there are positives that you can enjoy throughout the pain. The pain will not go away. It may lessen with time, but it never goes away. You never forget. So that's my message to you. We're in it together.